Hey, welcome back. In today's video, I want to show you this neat library called Unstorage. So Unstorage is a library for handling key value stores. So anytime you have a list of data where the key is a string and the value could be any object, anything that's serializable with JSON. And I think it's great for several different use cases. For example, if you have a simple app where there's not a very complicated data structure, you don't need an ORM, it's just keys and values, it can be a very useful tool for that. Another option could be, let's say, if you're doing caching, maybe you have something that's expensive to compute and you want to keep the result around, then you can use Unstorage as a cache. And another option is probably when your app runs in different environments, where maybe if some people are going to deploy it to Cloudflare, other people are going to deploy it to Vercel, and you want to support a dynamic backend for your data. Now, Unstorage supports many different types of drivers. Some useful ones are memory, so you can keep stuff around like for caching, or maybe in test mode, it's useful to put things in memory. It supports SQL for a more durable type of storage if you want to use Postgres or MySQL. There's also file system, so maybe in development mode, it's nice to store on the file system so that when you restart your server, you still have your data from the last time. And there's, of course, Redis. So for caching, Redis is a great option. And there's many more, so take a look at the docs. And so I'll show you how to get set up with it. The minimal setup looks something like this, where you import the create storage, which is like a factory function from the Unstorage package. And then you would choose a driver. You can use any driver you want. Here I'm using the memory driver. So declare the driver, instantiate it, and then you declare the storage, and you just pass in the driver as an option. And notice that we also give it the type. And so this is the type of data that we're going to put in the storage. Now, once we have the storage client, we can use it to read and write data. And the API is very straightforward. It looks something like this. So you can set or insert data by calling the set function. You can get data by just calling get. You can obviously delete by key. And you can check if a key exists by calling has. Or you can even wipe all the storage by calling clear. And if you want to watch for changes, there's a nice API called Storage Watch, which will call a callback anytime something changes. So the callback gets the event and the key. The event is like create or update. The key would be whatever key changed. And then you could do some logic. Like here, I'm like broadcasting the change over WebSocket. But obviously, in your app, do what you need to do when things change. Now, a common requirement is that you want to store different types of data in the same storage. So here I have a shopping cart where I want to store sometimes a product, sometimes a cart in the same storage. So we need a way to specify types so that we get the right type based on the key. And so Unstorage gives us a very nice feature for this called prefix storage. And the way it works is that after you create your storage client, you can call prefix storage to specify what the prefix should be for each type of data. So here I have data for product and cart, and each one will have its own prefix. Then later, when I go to get that data, it now comes back typed. So I'll leave you with one last tip. If you're setting up a different driver for production and development, what you can do is you can dynamically import your driver. So you can set up a file, driver.production.js, and then you could import that dynamically at runtime. So that's kind of useful. All right, so there you have it. That's Unstorage, a very simple API for reading keys and values. You can take a look at the docs here. All right, catch you in the next one. Cheers.